I almost feel love here. I repeat, I almost feel love here. Those words must be had said by the many man who embarked himself in this really interesting journey going to the Holy Land in the medieval times in Europe. So I'm here today to take you to this short but intense journey into something which is geography, power, imposing cultures, and also the search for what is within yourself. Dear members and most welcome guests, my name is Sabas Castillo, and I'm here today to try to make it organized as I didn't do last time. So, starting with semantics, we had a linguistic today, so I'm trying to impress him. Going to the title of my speech today, Temple. You might think it's this billboard in the tube trying to advertise this new series in the Channel 4. This is not. You might also think about the Church of Temple in Temple, which sometimes is related, but it's not properly related. So talking about semantics, when you go to the Oxford Dictionary and find for that word, temple is being described as a free consecrated places, consecrated all of, which is devoted to the exercise of belief and the performing of rituals. Sounds good, right? So we're going to talk about a specific temple, and I'm going to take you back then, when I finish my speech, about this magnificent space we have here today, which also is a kind of temple. So going back in history and geography, I'm telling you before about this specific period of time in history in Europe, which basically comprises from the 11th century to the 13th century. That was the time in which the Crusaders existed. And basically there was a kind of army group of men which were fighting against the Muslims taking the Holy Land. So of course I'm not going to go into this kind of political incorrectness that we can now understand. But basically those people were trying to defend a territory which in certain ways belonged culturally to them. Specifically talking about the geography in which Jesus Christ lived. So they want their pilgrims to go from Europe to that place and exercise this kind of connection with the Holy Spirit, with connection with the unbelief. So they want those guys to be protected, because usually that takes a long time to go to the Holy Land at those times. We didn't have EasyJet then. And they usually didn't get back because they're out of maladies, of physical exertion, or also the crimes that were committed, because there were many people trying to gather valuables from them, and usually when some battles started, they were caught in the middle, so they didn't make a safe return back to Europe. So those people created this army of guys which basically were defending them, but also defending the church, the Christians. So the most skillful troop of Crusaders were the Templars. So I'm going to take you to the origin of the name of those people. Basically, when they went into Jerusalem, which basically was the center of the Christian world at the time, they were allocated a special place in what was formerly known as the Temple of Solomon. It was a mosque, and then was taken by the Christian, and then it was renamed Mount Temple. So from that real name, the Templars got their names. So they stood there for a while. They were quite poor, and the Pope at this time tried to make some money getting into them. And after 200 years, because they lasted from 11th century to 13th century, they got so much money and power that they were regarded as the first financial banking system in the whole world. So I mean, the first corporation ever created. So from starting trying to defend the Christian pilgrims going to the Holy Land from Europe, they became to be the biggest financial structure ever created. So of course that makes the establishment checking a bit, especially the nobles, the royalty, and even the church. So one of these French prince called Philip IV had a really bad with them. So he talking to the Pope and said, look, I don't like those guys, but basically he didn't want to pay the huge debt he had against them. So the Pope made a papal order and they were banished to exist. So basically those guys were wearing this flag, which basically, once you were wearing this, you're reassuring a place in heaven. So I'm trying to do this more because I'm a sinner. So basically the white is chastity, one of the many attributions they needed to have. The Red Cross basically was martyrdom. So while fighting against the Muslims, they were just trying to secure a place for themselves in heaven. And the black here is the saints that need to just let back. Anyway, so how this relate to us here, this nice venue, and this beautiful place which belongs to the Freemasons? So you're going to be surprised. I'm going to read this. One theory on the origin of Freemasonry claims direct descent from the historical Knights of the Templar Order, especially his final 14th members, who allegedly took refuge in Scotland. So, my dear fellows here this morning, we're here today because of the Templars. So this beautiful temple, we have every single Thursday to speak and to perform the rituals of communication was due to those guys who in the medieval times went to the Holy Land and back. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you.